Hello everyone and welcome to yet another live coding and chill. I'm your host Johnny, delighted to be here. Hope you're having an amazing weekend. Let me know what you're up to. Say hi in the chat. This week we'll add a fun new feature into the Drawmon Pokémon app that we've created last week. And first, I'll recap what we've done. So we have this Drawmon app that I was inspired to build because I wanted something to help me get better at drawing while being kind of fun. So I've started rolling a random number, created a little random number generator to pick a random number from 1 to 1025. And the number that rolled, I looked up which Pokemon it is and then tried to draw it. And that made me a bit happier. I don't know if it made me a bit better at drawing, but I thought this is a great idea for an app. And we've built this. We have this page in the app that you can click the reroll button, or you can go from the homepage there and go to get a random Pokemon. And then you get it. And you can find the link in the description, play around yourself. Not that many things. I've also added the classics, which is login, logout, anonymous user functionality, login with Google, but it's easy to extend to login with GitHub or anything else. All of these things work. As you know, if any of those deployed things don't work, I shut the stream down and we never stream for months and years. But it's all been fun. We did try to use an LLM, to use Claude Code to code a lot of this app, and the results were mixed. I had this suggestion from the chat from a long-time supporter, fan, friend, companion in the chat. I love it when people keep me company in the chat for sure. And they show me things that, oh, have you tried doing it like this? Or have you tried this library or not? Anyway, Fangelo in the chat suggested to try SpecKit, GitHub's SpecKit, to maybe help guide Claude Code, the LLM, when I'm asking it to implement features. On the last episode, we heavily used the Svelte MCP server because I do think that sort of loop where you have this task, this something, this agent, where you're able to provide a validation gate and say, run it through a linter, run it through a TypeScript compiler or something, is essential to get workable code. But with SpecKit, it gets into a slightly different level. I had investigated it before, and what I did offline, we can also see the detail of like any Pokemon that exists. Here we're using the Pokemon, the Poke API to get the Pokemon data, and I wanted to make a local database sync from the Poke API, so in order to not use their data all the time. Oh, hello, Fernando, speaking of you. Great suggestion today. The goal today is to build who is that Pokemon functionality into the app, so have a guess route, and show the silhouette of the Pokemon, and also silhouetted, like darkened, some of the aspects of the Pokemon, the name, the number, the types, maybe not the height and weight, because who would know those things, but let's see, we will see if the LLM with the help of SpecKit, it will be able to create all of that. The other thing I did offline to kind of investigate to get today's stream and prepare for it was use SpecKit myself to do the database sync feature. So I found that there is this Poke API data GitHub repo that the Poke API team are kindly providing. And I thought that it should be possible to get the data from here and or the related data, at least from here, like the Pokemon themselves, and mirror them into our own Cloudflare D1 database. And I've used SpecKit extensively for this. I did manage to get something that worked in the end, but I'm still not at the stage after trying this for like a day and a half all weekend. I'm still not in the stage where the deployed Cloudflare trigger is actually working, because we get through the request limit, even though I had various specs about we need to do up to this many requests per minute. Man, we cannot get over this because it will just time out. Cloudflare will not let us do it. So I've been trying to fix this, but it kind of works. Like sometimes all you want is something that kind of works. So before talking more about this, let me check in the chat as well. So question from Sam, is there any serious distinctions for a scripting language other than variable hoisting? I'm a bit confused about that concept. So where the variables get hosted in JavaScript specifically is a bit of an issue, especially years ago, because with vars it was slightly different than what you'd expect in other languages. But I don't know how you mean, is there a serious distinction? It's like all JavaScript does it in a crazy way that no other language does it, or something else. I definitely haven't freshened up for like 20 years from my computer science classes. I haven't freshened up enough to tell you that, oh, if you hoist the variables, then it means that the pointer for this needs to be garbage collected or whatever. So I can't get much deeper into that. But like the quick tip, I would say with modern JavaScript with let and const, the hoisting behaves as you'd expect it for variables. Even though const being a variable is also kind of interesting, and the way imports are handled in JavaScript are also interesting. I will discuss it later. I will I'll put it in a bonus, and maybe I'll prepare more and discuss it in a different episode. So variable hoisting. So I'll just quickly put this in. Thank you kindly for remembering to tell me not to ramble on this. So we've done this. Let's talk about SpecKit itself, because even though it's made by sponsored, hosted by a giant, it's hosted by Microsoft. And do I actually have a link? Yes, all the links in the descriptions. So SpecKit, like 38k stars, so quite popular, and lots of helpful videos by Dan, one of the core maintainers, very enthusiastic in the videos. I do suggest having a look in a couple of them. I do like the one of how to use SpecKit with your existing projects. Again, every time I show any engineer or anyone who's ever worked in that sort of setting, I have to say that these people have done for JavaScript and coding and engineering more than I've ever done in my life, and I'll ever do in my life. However, I will say in this that when you do work for Microsoft, it's a bit awkward to take some things at face value. Like, you know, you see them using Copilot and you're like, do they like them, or are they forced to use it, or what? I don't know. But of course you are enthusiastic of your own project as well. The own projects that I do, I'll always hype up. I'll try to be objective, but you know, I'll always be excited about them. So I do think there is a lot of room for people like me who are independent to try things out and see, oh, does this actually work? Does this not work? And with 38,000 stars, you do think that if you do use it, if you do contribute to it, you are able to guide it in a direction where it will get better and it will be used, it will become sort of a standard. So there is hope for this project to become a standard. There are lots of opinions of how to work with LLMs and agents and how to do the PRD stuff, the plan, research, implement, whatever. But when something is this popular, I think it has reached escape velocity. So we should definitely look into this and see how it performs. So in this video, I did find that the workflow seemed like something that a manager or a product manager, product owner would like and make them feel like they're doing more code. But it was something that a software engineer who usually does code would feel like, oh, I'm doing too much Jira to get this feature out. And in the end, the result was okay, but Dan did need to do quite a bit of hand-holding with the LLMs to get at this point. So there was, you know, over half edited hour of saying to the LLM, this is the spec, this is what I want you to do, this is what needs to happen, and then you still need to tweak it a lot. And the question will be, am I adding more Jira style, like paperwork stuff that I need to do in advance? Am I becoming more of a manager? And then leaving the debugging, the other chores, to me afterwards. The LLM gets to do the fun part and I get to do the debugging. So I'm not sure that's something I am willing to investigate, and I think that by using this tool more and sharing opinions, we will be able to cut it in order for us to be able to do the more fun stuff and leave the boilerplate, the paperworky stuff to the LLM. So for example, I hate at this point to write files and with interfaces and so many types and all of that. There is so many files that you need to write, so many things that you need to type. I hate doing that. Having the LLM do it for me, even if the files need to be looked over and then fixed afterwards, makes me feel happy. And I can set the LLM on a path, then go play the piano, monitor in the process, my iPad or whatever, and then come back and see if it works and then try to fix it. So we'll see. As I mentioned, the end result was that they did have something that could sync data from the Pokémon API to the Cloudflare D1 database. Still not working in production, but I can have it run locally on my machine and sync the database that is in production. So that's something that we've unblocked that part, goal achieved. But there were quite a few moments where I would have expected that the LLM would have the knowledge to not make some silly mistakes and take some better decisions. But hey, I guess that's why we need to review them. And I think that's it for the rambling preamble. Today, we'll try to introduce more UI to the task with a cron trigger task that I did over the weekend, because it's more backend work and more like Python style and that sort of work. I thought that the LLM would do even better because it wouldn't need to worry about designs and browser stuff problems. But I would have hoped it did it better. We'll see today how it does with a task that does involve UI. What my usual process is without SpecKit is I have like a notes file that I clear every time. I just kept it here to show to everyone what it looks like to me. And each one is the prompt that I paste to Claude Code. And I like having this because I'm able to find and identify exact files to tell it to read this fully. And it gives me a time to think and edit back what I wrote, that I find is a bit better than actually doing it in the Claude Code window. Of course, you can do this as well with the integration with VS Code, but that's by the by. Usually I would do it like this, but now with SpecKit, let's see how you're supposed to do it in a more regimented way. Let's see. So we've talked about all of this. We can close everything. Let's do another reroll for luck. Beautiful. It's gonna go amazing. It's gonna go amazingly well. And write the timestamp. And so I do have the cheat sheet. After you install SpecKit in a project, existing project or non-existing project, it will give you this, which I wish I could see somewhere else, but I just took a screenshot so I can remember. You are supposed to write your constitution, which is like some programming principles that your project should adhere to. I do think that's the sort of thing that makes managers happy, that, oh, you know, I wrote this, well, as a principal engineer, maybe I should say that this is the sort of thing that makes principal engineers happy, that, oh, you know, I went out and I wrote this white paper of what the standards in our company should be. But essentially, what I had to do was read into the Claude instructions of how the LLM is supposed to work. If you don't have a Claude MD, I guess if you're using a different sort of LLM, then that's why this exists. So it's going to be like framework agnostic. They have their own file that you need to maintain. But I hate having like multiple sources of truth. So I'm not that keen on keep updating this every time I need to update my Claude Code, every time I figure out that, oh, I should tell Claude to run the TypeScript compiler before calling a project done, because then I go into the file and I see that there are type errors that you haven't handled. So I'd rather just update this insight into the one page and not the other, even though I know that I can then ask the LLM, please update it on all files. Anyway, you're supposed to do this with the main standards that you have on the project. Again, I don't think it should be necessary, because people just say follow best practices for like front end and whatever. It's like, is anyone gonna say to follow worst practices? Like use the most amount of money possible. I don't know. So I'm not sure how relevant that is, but you should create it as the first step the first time you initialize SpecKit for your project. The first time you initialize SpecKit as well, it will give you like a ton of files, a ton of scripts that are kind of like commands. It will also give you like commands that Claude Code in the systems or whatever your LLM is that is nicely integrated will be able to run. And I wonder how they integrate with the script themselves. I guess they're like, get this input and then run like this script. Anyway, the point is that you have all these files. The first one you're supposed to run just once is the constitution one. And then for every feature, you need to run the specify command. You explain the feature, and then it will create all sorts of files for you just for that feature and switch you to the branch for it. Let's see how it goes. Offline, I've created the spec, which I will recite to you. Hope you like my voice, because it's long. I want a who's that Pokemon style of game in our web app. The user should be able to go to the guess route and see the silhouette of a random Pokemon. I do wonder how it will be able to achieve this. We have transparent PNGs of the Pokemon, which maybe I should mention, but we'll see. They should also see placeholders for their name, Pokédex number, and types. The placeholders should look like dark bars, and the user should not be able to inspect the context, the browser, to tell what's under them. The placeholders should be able to inspect the DOM. What did I mean? Something like that. The placeholders should be about the same length as the answer. So a longer bar for a longer name. One single bar for a single type Pokemon, 2 bars for a 2 type one. I was wondering about this, like, should it actually give you a hint on how long the Pokemon name is? But I thought, yeah, why not? And when the user clicks a silhouette or a placeholder, the answer should be revealed. The user plays the game in their minds, so there is no need for further user input or checking whether they got it correct. So instead of the lovely horsey here, you see the silhouette of the lovely horsey, like in the who's that Pokemon style. And also this is covered by black bars. This is covered by bars. And in your head or with your friends, you're like, oh, I think that this is, I'm blanking on all Pokemon names. That's not Keldeo, which I didn't know either. I think this is an Eevee. And another friend, oh no, I think this is a Ponyta. And then you click and you find out that you both are wrong, but we're not going to do a form opens up and you type in your response and we see if your response is correct or not. It's something that you just play with your mind in these states at least. So you make your guess, you click, it reveals that specific part. And I guess like you could reveal the name and then try to guess the Pokédex number or vice versa, and then try to guess the typings. Maybe that's something that you want to do, but I think it should be kind of fun. Right, so the user plays the game in their minds. There is no need for further user input or checking whether they got it correct. The experience should be similar to the random route, which is this one, but have a bespoke card with a bespoke skeleton loader UI. So we have this Pokemon card, Crocaylor, that's a cute one, which does skeleton loading when you open it the first time. It's quite fast because it's running locally now, but it should be bespoke. So I'm trying to tell it, don't reuse this one. Make your own, make one that's bespoke to the things I want the user to guess. This is the whole spec. Already, I think that's a lot of work. Already, I could just paste this to Claude Code and be like, try to implement this. But with a SpecKit route, SpecKit and SvelteKit, you're supposed to run the specify command. And then it will think for a while and try to create the official Jira ticket for the feature. And we'll get to review what it wrote, see if it did understand what we wanted to do. It's asking permission to run this script. It's I always find it hard to be able to allow these commands. So I've mentioned in a couple ways to my Claude settings station that I want you to be able to run .specify scripts pass, even if you call it explicitly or through your own tool. And yet it keeps wanting to be more specific than that. Oh well. I'm sure there is something wrong with the way I've done the asterisks. Tenancy, yes. It's trying to read the random route. Great. I wonder if it will automatically figure out that it's SvelteKit, but I guess there are a couple places in the context, like in the constitution file, I mentioned Svelte and SvelteKit. In Claude, I mentioned Svelte and SvelteKit. So it should be able to know at least that, and therefore how routing works. And while it's thinking for the cron task, it's definitely a thing that if I just went to the Cloudflare docs myself instead of having setting up the Cloudflare MCP, which I did set up, I could have done it myself. But I guess the idea is if you go through enough hoops to make the LLM be able to do most of the work for you, that's the thing we're trying to investigate. It's the old teach a man how to fish and they'll never be hungry again. But maybe there is a limit to how we can work with LLMs. And every time we try to teach it how to fish, we'll fail because it will never understand. I don't know. Sometimes things feel very, very promising. Sometimes not. It's different when mentoring software engineers or talking to other engineers. When you take the time to explain things to them, they do get better. They do the thing, they get better every time they do the thing. I guess that's the thing with LLMs, that in real life, the more you do the thing, the better you get at the thing. LLMs don't get better at the thing just by doing the thing. At best, you need to explicitly find the ways to tell them how to be better at the thing. But we get better at using LLMs as we use LLMs, so we find the ways to put up the guardrails for them to do a good job. So it's possible. It's possible. Out of scope. I always hated the out of scope concept working in companies. It's like out of scope is like everything in the world, right? I guess it's supposed to explicitly call out things that we shouldn't worry about here. But I don't know, I always found it quite funny. All right, so specification is ready. Perfect. Claude Code is very positive. Specification completed, created a branch, guess Pokémon game. So that's an update from the video where it just every branch was like, I want to. So it has a relevant name. This is quite nice. It created a comprehensive specification. It's telling you that it's comprehensive, so you will believe it. For a Who's That Pokemon guessing game at the guess route. The feature includes core experience, which is priority 1, a random Pokemon displayed as a silhouette, placeholder bars for name, Pokédex number, and types, bar size proportionally to actual content length, DOM inspection resistant, no hidden text in HTML. I say that's not like priority 1, but hey. Reveal mechanism, priority 2, click silhouette or any placeholder to reveal all details. Instant simultaneous reveal of all information, incorrect. If you click the silhouette, I still want the name to be hidden. Display format consistent with random route. Also incorrect. I guess visually it should be the same, but I explicitly don't use the same card, and I worry that's the thing it will understand here. Replay capability, so that's feature creep. It's like they're going off the rails here. Request new challenges for continued gameplay. What? I guess it's the reroll button that we have in the random page. Okay. Quality steps passed. We can then go to clarify. Ooh, Frangalo. On Discord, I have to not disturb during the stream, so I'll have to read it later. Taskmaster 3 was recommended by AI Code King for this reason. That's interesting. I would think that Taskmaster, I'd love like an integration with Taskmaster, the series, the British TV show. But that's by the by. I will definitely have a look at that one. I may need to do like a pure coding live stream in between, but I'll definitely have a look and see what we do next week. So after this, you can either clarify with then demos in the videos over there, where it essentially is asking you questions based on the gaps that it thinks that your specification has. So what should happen when this? Which can be quite fun, but I think we'll go straight to plan after we change things. After we change things. Let's see how many files that it. Is it really just two? Surely not. Oh, all right. So that's a short one. It's a bit of a bigger one. I guess this is like a helper file. And I wish I knew, like, are we just supposed to write this, to make the edits manually here? Or use the LLM to say, please add this in the spec, please amend this to the spec. I wish there was a command, an explicit command that helps me make amends to the spec. I fear that the command could be run specify again. It says create or update specification, so they've added this. Great. Right, so I'll go to my big notes file and see what I want to update. Interesting that their user story, the way it gave me the breakdown of the user stories was a bit better for me to understand. I guess it's more meant for humans, fair enough. So what I want to write is I want to amend the spec for P2, the reveal mechanism. I've forgotten how to write silhouette. Silhouette. That's not what I copied. Ah, it switches back to my input. That's how they get you. Right. I want to amend this spec. Our P2, the reveal mechanism. Clicking the silhouette only just don't reveal one of the places. So this is one amendment that we want, and we also wanted an amendment regarding the visual style. Let's see how it does on this one. Also, if your goal is to burn tokens, this is the way to do it. Ooh, that resulted in quite a few things. I will not be answering these questions because I fear if I give too much like animation information, then it's not gonna do it well anyway. So I'd rather, you know, play around with it myself. Interesting about partial reveal between sessions, whether we're going to be storing this in local storage or you get a new one each time you refresh. Quite interesting. That reveal all button as out of scope. The out of scope thing, is it like cool ideas? Cool ideas that you may want to do later? My god, change is made in amendment. I should have said both amendments there. It's so costly in time. So the other one was about the visuals, right? So they just not bother to say it? I think so. Pokémon ID should be a bigger target. All right, let's specify again. And then, hopefully, it won't take too long. And then, I suppose, we'll switch into the plan mode. So I guess it's going to be around the 34-minute mark. Not too bad. Anyone watching Taskmaster Series 20? 19 was really strong, and 20 is nice as well. My favorite series is a commonly mentioned as the best series ever, I think. Common take, it's Series 7. Oof, it's like the Pokédex number interactive area should meet the WCAG 2.1 level AAA touch target size guidelines. 44 by 44 pixels minimum, just so you know. Like, if you didn't know, not saying that you didn't know, but if you didn't know, it's right there. Something very keen to look into for future streams is the playwright MCP integration as well. I have some notes in my Claude and the Constitution and stuff that there should at least be a smoke test whenever you add a new route. So I'm very interested to see if it is going to create one, if it is going to run the test, which I often say, oh, you need to run the test, make sure that the test pass before you tell me that it's done. So I'm very curious to see what it will do. But with the playwright MCP, it should be able to click around the app itself in the exploratory phase. Which, would that be better or worse? I don't know. So I'm very willing to find out. Would you like to proceed with planning? I think the answer is yes. And we will. I don't think I need a prompt for this. I think it's just a specify plan. Do it. So the suggestion is do the clarify flow where it asks you questions and then it adds even more things there. Yet again, even though I've tried quite a lot to tell it, you should be able to run this yourself. It's not doing it. Someone in the chat, I'm sure someone knows. Like, do I just say, should I just specify it like this? No, because PNPM I do run it like this. This, like I've checked quite a few times, it's dot specify scripts bash anything here. In the local, because it asks for everyone, it's even adding them explicitly. I'm fine to run most things like that unless they remove files, I suppose, or they migrate databases. Oh, planned already. Oh no, sorry. It updated the spec while planning. This may take a while. So how would I design the card? The things I would feature creep. I do like each one having the reveal all button, but maybe not. Like, are you really? Is it more fun to tap, tap, tap? I think so. The things I would add in the guess route versus the random Pokemon route would be to see like 3 at a time, and then, you know, with your friend you shout out, oh, this is Pikachu, oh, this is Charizard, and you see who will get more points out of like the 3 Pokemon that are on screen. But that makes it a bit more difficult on mobile. But I guess if it's on mobile, you're just playing one by one. Looking at one silhouette, you're a bit stuck in one. Maybe you look at another, you get unstuck. That could be fun. That could be fun. And for the design, I do want to have like a Pokemon, a Pokédex entry. Sometimes they're quite different from one version to the other. So I would want you to think, what's the Pokédex entry? It's like, oh, it's the one where it steals, abducts children, the balloon. And you kind of remember that, then you click it and you see the actual Pokédex entry. And it doesn't really matter which one it's using, because you don't need to be 100% correct. Or if you're with your friends, you can have an agreement amongst yourselves whether you're happy with your answer or not, and who gets the point there. So the silhouette, for sure, that's like the key feature that I'm hoping it will be able to do. Like, surely with PNG, it should be able to figure out the alpha channel and just make it like dark or whatever. But who knows? The name, of course, the number, yes. But not that interesting. Like, I am probably a Pokemon nerd, but not that much of a nerd where I know Pokemon numbers. The types of the Pokemon, that's also fun, especially after you've seen it. You're like, oh, I think this is a water type. Sure. For others, it would be harder. Height and weight, they vary from Pokemon to Pokemon anyway, so I don't really care about them. But yeah. The types and the Pokédex entry, I think these are the ones that I would really like to have and to be revealed. I would show maybe a selection of 1, 3, 6, 9 Pokemons per screen. Pokemons. And I would also have a filter eventually, so you'd be able to play with just the generations that you think you know. So, you know, just Pokemon red, blue, yellow, and not generations that you haven't played. That would be a cool feature. But that's something for the future. If it is able to deliver this fast, maybe we can do it this live stream, but I think that's a bit too much. If we do get the game where I actually see a silhouette and I click and I see the Pokemon, I'm super happy from today's live stream. Create the contracts directory. As an engineer, are we excited about contracts? I guess when you get a contract and it's good money, you do get excited. But when you're on the screen, like, don't you want to do code? The ideation part is quite fun. Honestly, like, even if I was kind of joking about it, the out of scope thing was the best one. Because it's like, oh, cool ideas. Let's talk about the product. It's the most fun part of being a product manager. Talking about what the user would want, what is possible to do here, what should be out of scope, what's something to do like later. I think those are the most fun parts. The other question is, would I have been able to just do this and create like a little card that just uses the alpha channel to block out the Pokemon and do the silhouette like by this time? Maybe. But, you know, now I can read the chat, respond, go play the piano, come back. And I wouldn't have thought about the extra ideas of that the feature may have. Then again, just doing things and getting people to like click around the app, that's the best way to get the best feedback, I would say. So getting feedback from the LLM, maybe that's not the best. The other thing I found doing the cron thing is that it creates this quick start document, which essentially is the implementation. It has a lot of real code there. Sorry, a lot of real code there, not pseudocode. And I'm not sure about having a document that says essentially copy and paste this code when you go to the implementation phase. Don't know. I think that's a reason why some SvelteKit bits, it didn't do them well, because it gets around the Svelte MCP server. Because what we've told it is, if you're touching components and if you're writing Svelte or SvelteKit code, you must run it through the Svelte checker. And there is the Svelte task command and all of that. So with this write things that you copy paste later in the in the quick start document step, I think it's kind of bypassing this. And I don't know what will happen if I don't catch it later, but I don't want to read this document and catch things that shouldn't be there in the first place. All right, let's see what it did. You've played your piano and then you come back and you see planning complete. The branch is there. Found that this artifact does research. Key technical decisions. Silhouette, CSS filter with brightness 0 on sprite math. Nice. State management, Svelte 5, $state. 5 Boolean flagged. If any engineer would be like, I did the research, we're gonna need 5 Boolean flags from this, and then you need to go to the closet and bring out like the flags, and we need to allocate the flags. Franglo, with it would be interesting to see how many tokens this process consumes. We should compare it against the average like engineer day rate or hourly rate as well, and see like, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? That'd be another thing as well. Placeholder sizing, CSS C8 character units, proportional to text length. Cool. DOM inspection prevention, empty elements with CSS width, text only on reveal. Great. Touch targets, minimum is this. Great. Loading state with a bespoke card skeleton. Error handling, reuse the Svelte boundary pattern from random. Amazing. Animations, Svelte 5 transitions under 200 milliseconds. I wonder if I've commented somewhere about how fast this should be. But I don't know. Reroll, Svelte remote function pattern. Great. Component composition. So let's look at this code actually. I've mentioned last time, one of the things it didn't do for the random page was that we're using this Svelte remote function, and it was trying to reload the page, go to the same page, which didn't work because if in Svelte, if you go to the same page, if you use the go to method to go to the same page without adding any other parameters, it doesn't actually go to the same page. And the way to do what you actually want when you're using remote functions is to call the refresh function on the remote function. So interesting, it picked it up and added into the into the output here, into the research here. And it would be cool if it does it well this time. It's that thing that we're talking about. LLMs don't learn if you keep using them, but if you add more safeguards, then they do learn. Kinda. It feels like they'll learn. So yeah, let's see if they eventually become self-aware. If we spend enough tokens, they'll become self-aware. It created a data model. Maybe we can see this. Contracts components. I didn't create that one with the previous one. With just a cron, just a node TypeScript code. So be interested to see this. And the quick start document, which has all the code to be copy pasted, as far as I understand. Then it designed a few components. Great, cool. Testing strategy. It does say playwright smoke test. The guest route runs correctly. Great. Integration tests. Progressive reveal interactions. Accessibility tests. I wonder if it will say you need to do this manually. But let's see. A consideration test is a pass. Great. Next steps. Proceed with implementation. Or this is a new command that they've added, but apparently it's a critical path now because you need to do the tasks with dependency or ordered implementation task based on the plan and design artifacts. Great. Ready to implement. All plan artifacts are completed and validated by the LLM itself. We haven't seen them. The feature is well specified with clear technical decisions, component designs, and acceptance criteria. Like patting ourselves on the back here. We've done so well. What did it actually do? It has the data model here. So it types what it thinks it's going to keep for the reveal state. So for each one, like the type. Interesting. For me, each component would have its own state, I guess. But now that it said it like that, maybe the owner knowing the state is also beneficial. So you know when the game is done, I guess. You've revealed everything. So fair enough. The Pokemon types, not using this feature. Great to say. We could say what's the first version in the Pokédex entries that we do want these things. I guess this would be the time to amend, but I won't do it yet. So it's explaining too much how it's going to do the state management and all of that. I'm definitely not going to read it. Like even in real life, if I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't read all of this. But this is the point where if I had to say all of this to another engineer, then I would rather watch him work and then they have their own questions and they ask me and it's like interactive instead of here's like this Slack message. At that point, you just do it yourself. Or invite them to what's over my shoulder as I do it and they ask questions and blah, blah, blah. So it's a bit much. The quick start, again, we don't want to do this. We don't want to copy the environment. I guess it's for developers and not for this thing. Like general, first time you've opened this repo, you have to do this. Sure. For viewers, the functional requirements. Pokemon sprite displays as black silhouette initially. Yeah, we can use a tailwind color, but I'll ask it later. Visual design checklist. This is something that I would read, I think, if we weren't on the stream. For stakeholders, feature demo script, the elevator pitch. We've added a Who's That Pokemon guessing game. Users see a silhouette and can progressively reveal hints by clicking dash, aim dash. Making it a strategic puzzle, not just a binary guess. Demo flow, we go to guess route, we click the silhouette. There is like some script for us. Okay, then it integrates with one of these companies that have AI people that create videos for you with AI people and AI voice and all of that. Okay. Troubleshooting. Blah, blah, blah. Quick reference. That's not a real thing. Where should I put the... place of the app? It's interesting. Maybe I should have every app I've created in the JOHNNIFY domain. Probably a good idea, but not real life. Maybe in the README. Should I have something? I guess Claude should know this and the Constitution should know this. I guess if it's gonna try to use it again, it will never read the README otherwise, but that's a problem for another day. Spec and test, blah blah. Yes, sure. Good place to put it. Linting, key files. Haven't been created yet. Checklist. Page loads in under 2 seconds. Check the network. 2 seconds is a lifetime. How did it arrive at 2 seconds? Is it like where it goes like amber alert red or something? Reveal interactions under 10 seconds. Can you imagine if it takes like more than a second to reveal one? That'd be controversial. Loading error states display on slow 3G. Okay. It's 2025. Slack. Get help on the Slack channel for team questions. That's kind of funny. Let's say Discord. What is our Discord? We have like a help question support. Anyway, this shouldn't be here. I'm just kind of joking around. Cool. So, all right, it created this file. Research file, which I think we've kind of seen. Requirements. 17, up from 11. And components, so that's interesting. I guess, again, managers would love to know how many components we're going to create, and then they'd be like, should we add them to the component library? And I'll be like, why do we have a component library? Are we open sourcing anything? American style behaviors. Should I like fix them? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. All right, so enough looking at this, I guess. Next step will be implement the fun stuff. I think it will work. Like it got the brightness, the filter thing. Will it work on Safari? Probably not. But it should work in general. So let's turn our plan. Oh no, we still have this. It's not the fun stuff yet. It's turning our plan into tasks, and as they said. So tasks, we still have one more. Whoops. Again, it wants to run another bash script, which I wish I was able to tell it, just do it. At least it usually tries to run them at the beginning of the command, so it's not when I've gone and started making coffee or dinner. And then I come back and I'm like, oh no, it wasn't doing anything. It was slacking off. I know a friend who's told me that it's they have one LLM running, like Claude Code running for work, and then as it works on the side hustle projects, then gets those LLMs running, goes back to work, back and forth, each one taking like a few minutes. It's a workflow. Is it one of the cases where if we do manage to get performance wins, like we manage to make features happen faster, instead of getting that time back and going out and enjoying life, we'll just be doing double the work? Maybe. Loading design documents. I do wonder, for all of these steps, would having the Playwright MCP server be any helpful? Like, in reality, when people research stuff, you do want to see the existing site and click around and see how it feels and how it works. But I don't think this one would be able to do anything fun for these tasks. I guess they could go to the random page and click and confirm the button works, or actually inspect the elements that we're using there, maybe. But I don't know what would that result in. Like, a person would have that insight. And I guess all these big files it's trying to write is capturing that insight for themselves. In my head, I may be storing that, oh, they have like a common header on any page, but it needs to say, oh, it has these styles, it's an H2, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of understand the big files now. The need for big files for the LLM. I don't know if I'm supposed to read it yet again. Right, so task generated. Who's that Pokemon guessing game? This is how you delight your PMs, because you're like, 54 velocity points, I did them in 1 hour. Let's go. Phase 1, setup. Alert structure and metadata. Loading error UI, foundational. Whoa, blocks all stories. User story 1 is, I guess, see the Pokemon with the blocked bars. User story 2, I think is, it is saying, view selected Pokemon challenge. Great. Progressive reveal for hints. Get new challenge. Can run in parallel. Ooh. Will it run them in parallel? MVP is 17 tasks. Delivers the silhouette with placeholder, and it's testable. And then the progressive reveals are working. Whole loop production ready with the police. Parallel story development limited due to dependencies. Okay, it created the tasks. It will write 5 end-to-end smoke tests. Is that what it means? Or is it like it needs 5 tasks to write 1 test? Who knows? I may need to write, I prefer bigger stories in a test and not just separate tests for, I can see the header, I can see the picture, I can see, I'd like to having them in one big test. And I think, let's see the file first. So it must have created a checklist tasks file, this one. And if you have the to-do tree plugin in VS Code, I was like, how do I find the things that it actually did or it didn't? And you can, by accident or not, the to-do tree plugin will show you the tasks as they've been done before. So you can see on the cron tasks that I did that it can tell that everything was done in the end. Well, on this one, it wasn't. So for the human-related tasks, like add the GitHub token secret to like the cron, to the deployed production cron, it was undone, and I could go there and be like, oh yeah, I need to run this manually and then tick it off myself. So pro tip, use the to-do tree plugin. It's cool. So it created like a million features. Will it be able to do them all? Will some of them, will we need to do them manually? Just for the fun of it, I will write npm. I won't write. I will not format the files. I think it's time to go to implementation. All right, 1 hour in. I think all the paperwork is done. Our I's are dotted and whatever they say, our T's are crossed. We can run the implement command. Let me mute for just a moment. The classic one with the bus script. And if anyone knows, where should I put asterisks for this to run by itself? Context left until auto compact, 11%. That's kind of scary. I wonder, like, am I supposed to clear the context after every step? Because it has all these files that have all the context. So maybe I should be. That's an interesting clarification. 6%. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Yeah, I should also be able to tell it, please trust that this is a GitHub repo and all the environment variables are done. Maybe I should add it as notes to myself here. In localhost. Is it 5137? Probably not. The 173. So something for me to remember later. Put this somewhere. I guess it's kind of interesting. It's doing the auto compact thing. So what is kind of interesting? It's doing the auto compact while it's in the process of implementing, which is kind of scary. By myself, and unless I get different guidelines, I would clear the context and then ask to implement. Do the final implement action. Implement command. So yeah, we need to tell it everything's done, the server is running, no need to check these things out by yourself. Just trust me. It's doing the metadata stuff. It hasn't TDD'd, it hasn't written the test first. I think what I really want, like Taskmaster, joking aside about the series, the name sounds good for a tool, because what I really want is this, me to be able to have like a NotesMD where I paste in things that result in a big checklist that gets automatically ticked off or not as we get along the process. So I think that'd be the most helpful thing to me. Fewer of these files where it's like, oh, we need like these Svelte components or whatever. More of the, I guess my agenda is an example of what I'd like. Like before every stream, I try to think what I'm gonna show and how I'm gonna show it, And in my head, I'm like, oh, we need to type this code, we need to run this command. If something pops up in my head that will be a chunky bit, I add it to the agenda. So I want something like that to happen for me automatically and auto sync as I'm doing the code and going through the tasks. Because even now with the live streams, I forget to go back and tick things off or say that, oh, we're starting this thing. So if Taskmaster is doing something like that, I think we would find it very, very helpful. So something that I must remove from Claude, like just give up, is that LLMs cannot understand curly codes. I keep saying that for user-facing stuff, I want nice, pretty, actual curly codes and apostrophes like this. I'm not sure how well you can see them. But what they're only capable of producing, it seems, is the code style, boring, straight double quotes and single quotes. And me having this guideline in Claude, I think makes it flip out sometimes. And it's like, oh my God, this needs to have curly quotes. It's flipping out. And it shouldn't be doing anything. Like it's wasting tokens for nothing here. Because it shouldn't have single quotes or double quotes, and it definitely shouldn't care about this. At the end, it should run prettier, the format command that I have, and then everything should be as consistent as I want it. So it shouldn't care about this. The only thing that prettier the formatting won't fix is when for user-facing text, you need to have the exact Unicode for these quotes, unless you have like something else that transforms quotes, single quotes into curly ones and apostrophes and stuff. Anyway, that's by the by. I think this instruction is causing troubles, is the point of my story. I'll give it a try for sure. The more I think about it, I haven't seen it. I'll need to have a look at how it works. But just from the name, what you're saying, the recommendations, it does feel like it's something I would enjoy. And of course, I know that there are some companies that want to exhaust as many tokens as possible as like a key metric. Like find ways to use more Claude Code, like more power, more money is success for them, their KPIs. But for me, not really. Get it done is what I want. It's trying to do... Who knows what it's trying to do? I saw that some tests failed, but maybe it wasn't like a failure. Did try to run the test and it didn't quite work. It's like, are we making progress? It felt like it failed elsewhere, not on like the new test it wrote. So yeah, the way it's writing the test is the way I don't like, where it has a different test case for everything, especially for end-to-end tests, which take a while, like because the browser will take a while. It's not like a node test, it's not v-test. I definitely wouldn't want this to happen. Ah, interesting. So that's something that maybe I wouldn't have thought about. It's trying to make something be at least something comfortable for your finger to tap, even if the name of the Pokemon is Sword. Which I don't know if it's like a real thing, but it was thinking about it. That's kind of interesting. Yes, Abrok. Abra? Maybe Abra is not like long enough. Pichu? No, that's longer. What's the shortest Pokemon name? Could be like, can we do 3 letters? 18 tests now pass. Again, I wonder how many did it write? Is it like, for me, it should be 17 tests that I already have and one test that you've added. It's testing in a few devices as well, like 3 devices, 3 different viewports. So every test is like triplicate. So if it's like I had 3 tests, which makes 9, and then you've added like 3 more, that's 18. It's saying it wants to start the dev server. Which is already running. Again, I should say, whenever you're working on anything, assume that this is running, stop trying to start it. Yeah, we don't want a button with nothing. I would just add question marks there. All right, so what I'm thinking is and probably add an area label. So minimum length of the placeholder name. This is definitely something I could have coded instead of before explaining it. Replace its character with a Pokemon name, the Pokemon's name, with 1 per character. Even a space gets whatever. Make the invisible the same color as the bar, but will help reach the correct size. Minimum length of a placeholder name should be 3 question marks. Not area labels. Nope. Copy harder. So they have said 3. Revealable placeholder. So Franglau, the Constitution is a good place to put all your immutable requirements like WCAG, accessibility level to adhere to. Yeah, for sure. I wonder, do I have it somewhere? No. It should be somewhere. Constitution, definitely a good place for it. User experience excellence is a section I've added. Our UX must get the job done while delighting users when opportunities arise. When tests are written, they must use locators for maximum accessibility. Avoid testeds. I guess that's the one place where I kind of mentioned accessibility. I should have a bespoke one for that. I'm also slightly worried in that the way it tried to resolve the issue is by having a hard-coded style, and the style wasn't like min width. Let's see. So this is the spec that is creating the guess route. It does have a few tests. It tests that we're in the who's that Pokemon thing. Guesses that this. I wonder if the other E would make it fail, the accented E. Okay, so it is functionally interesting, this test, that for a single type Pokemon, it's showing a single type placeholder, while for a double dual type Pokemon, it's testing for 2 placeholders. However, how do you know? It's like this test is probabilistic. We'll just verify the structure supports dual types. Count should be 1 or 2. Okay, interesting. Verify it has a width. Okay, so I think this is how it's trying to the proportional placeholder widths. Interesting. So that's something like even I wouldn't want to capture in a test, but it's like if someone told me, oh, this is testing that the widths are proportional to the name, great. I guess using mock service worker, you can do something like this. So we could seed, like introduce the concept of seeding the guessing route, and then have mock service worker respond with specific Pokemon according to the seed or whatever. And then, you know, this one has 2 types, so it should have this. But yeah, the idea is good, but it does seem like it has like this placeholder, and it's like you need to figure out how to make this not random. Right. Ready for phase 4, progressive reveal. So should I dare go to this page? I think so. I think the answer is yes. So let's add let's do a demo. Should be doing more demos. So in theory, it has managed to create a guess route. This is working. It's done too much and not enough. So the invisible text is not invisible. The silhouette is not invisible. Maybe that's part of the other thing. And we do have layout shift with the placeholders it made. So not ideal. But let's tell it to keep going. Maybe in the end it will do better. So as it stands now, we know that there is layout shift. Question marks are a look. But yeah. Should I say implement again? I'll try to run implement. I think it will keep going because it keeps updating the tasks. And I will be right back. Oh, I remembered. Well, happy accident. A good thing is that you can take a short break. This thing, it's trying to read what has been done before. It's quite early on, unfortunately. Whoops. So let's see again. This is not a silhouette problem. When we click this, then it becomes the proper component. So I don't know how it made the placeholders here and the badges. The types using the other bands did seem to be correct. It didn't make this a big number, so it didn't really create a bespoke one. I saw it adding the text SM thing. You want it to be big. You want it to be big. But, oof, and yeah, there is quite big layout shift here. So that was a problem that it did on the random route as well, that it didn't specify a width and height for the image, even though we know exactly the width and height of the image. And it didn't learn. So that makes me think I should specify in the Claude and the Constitution. It's like, always think of the core web vitals, always be aware of common problems like layout shift, therefore always add width and height in images. stuff like that. It's unacceptable. I suspect that's what it didn't do, but who knows? Extremely high probability with 6 rolls. Oh my god. So if you asked anybody, they'd be like, you can't have your tests be random. Your browser tests especially. I have done VTest tests where I'd be like, okay, if I run this method 1,000 times and I don't get like, you know, something, I will trust that we've solved this issue or whatever. So I have done this. But for a browser test to rely on probability, I did this 6 times. So, you know, if I had a problem, then it should have, we would have a failing test. Anyone would say that this is crazy. So they won't do it. We try to think of a way, do it using like maybe mock service worker, maybe some other sort of mocking or anything like that. But hey. Maybe the thing with the dev server. I wonder if stop and prompt the user is acceptable. And yeah, these things are something for me offline to add to the Claude and the Constitution. And I'll have more insights after seeing how it tried to do the tests that I suspect that I would need to tell it that when you write tests, try to do this, like never to random test for something like this. Prefer longer test cases. I guess something that would also take a lot of tokens would be if we had a playwright integration and it could take screenshots. How would it understand, is this like all black? Is it a silhouette? Or is it, does it have color there? I think that would take a while. It would need to analyze the screenshot and then kind of guess that, oh, over there it should be the Pokemon. Do I see a lot of black gathered together? That would be fun to see. Because I suspect it had the filter on or whatever it had. And still the Pokemon was on the silhouette. So Did it compact again? I think I saw the warning about, yeah, here. So we needed two context compact and sessions in this session. It feels, even if I had cleared the context before implementing, it feels like we'd have run over the element. Okay. States in deployment. Preview deployments and stuff, we have them, but come on, let's boost production, mate. There should be a way to have it not go into a feature branch, by the way, just merge to main, trunk-based development and all of that. That'd be cool. All right, let's see what it claims it did. 52 out of 54 tasks. All the setup foundational, all the user story ones. Policy and validation are the only ones remaining. 2 manual QA tasks, which is fair enough. 5 end-to-end smoke tests, 12 integration tests. I guess it kind of understood that this is the one where we're maybe using mock service worker to fetch like specific results. Kind of cool. We don't even need mock service worker with this. If we do have the database synced and running, then we know that Pokémon 1 will always be Bulbasaur, and we know its types. So we could go to specific, but then the challenge, like the source random Pokemon, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe we could hard code, like if you give a parameter, like, you know, question mark ID, then it will show you the card for that Pokemon. And that would be a way to test it without needing to mock anything else, because then you'd know, okay, I'll use this Pokemon to test that it shows 2 placeholders for the types, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so that's great idea. I'll try to remember this. It says, main tasks, great. Created these components, added guess reveal spec. Cross-browser testing, even though playwright tests on all of them. Verify the silhouette effect, because it's not working. Responsive design, we do have a test that tests on mobile Safari. Verify no horizontal scrolling, sure, common problem, I guess. Do the manual testing and then do the deployments. So Farangelo calls out, well, that we could do red, green, refactor, dev approach. Yes, the one related thing I have in the constitution is when tests are written, they must fail without implementation. Never trust a test you haven't seen fail. When tests are written, they must use locators for maximum accessibility. So near the other one that I mentioned, they must fail without implementation. Never trust a test you haven't seen fail. I was a bit worried to explicitly tell it to do TDD, do BDD, like have a failing test, implement, see it go green, refactor, is it still green? But maybe I should be braver. Yeah, seeing the red, very, very important. Maybe it helped with the code it did. All automated quality checks have passed and implementation follows all Dromon constitution standards. The code is well documented with inline comments explaining the silhouette technique, placeholder size and logic, and touch target implementation. So the question is, does it just work? In the previous demo, we did see that the silhouette was not working, but it wasn't done yet. It did more work just on the reveal stuff, so there is a chance it will work. What do you think? I think it will still not work. But it will be kinda there. So, yes, refresh. Not working, layout shift. I guess I press nothing happens. Title, layout shift. I won't count it as layout shift because you don't want it to be exactly the same. So it doesn't force the card to be bigger, at least. Like none of these force the card to be bigger, which is fine. But it's, does this work? New challenge? Great. I would do like more with an animation. We saw a few Pokemon here. So yeah, this moving a bit horizontally, it's fine. You don't want it to be exactly the correct one. I guess this is like doesn't have padding. This being so different, like it makes no sense why it would do it like that. But hey, let's see what it created. Should I actually move on to the code? Should I give it a chance? Let's see. It created the guess route. Great. It has a page with the correct accents. And it's very similar to a random card here. Should actually go to that route. I don't know why I call it that silence. Say reroll, like the other one. We say reroll here, yeah. So here it didn't manage to do like the curly as expected, the apostrophe. It's getting a random Pokemon, great. So it's using the same thing that we're using elsewhere. It has a guest card skeleton while it's loading. If it's failed, it will show an error. Great, and try again. And then we have the guest card. And it will have an image element somewhere, surely. Pokemon silhouette. Gets the image URL. Why not the image? The name and whether it's revealed, and non-reveal, reveal the sprite. So the Pokemon silhouette. It does have a hard-coded width and height, it claims. It has it inside the button. And interesting. What did we do for the Pokemon card? Just an image with a width and height, but I guess we don't have it trapped inside a button element. And even here, even in the random page, when we reroll, you can see that the data updates, but the image itself takes a while more to load. So this updates first and then the image, because it takes a while to load the image itself. So there is something we can do for performance here. But why is this one going up and down? I guess bigger problem. Why is the filter not working? It's not using cyan to apply brightness 0 or whatever. So, is this a real thing? Maybe. The answer is maybe. I guess. Yeah, let's try to move on to engineer stats to see if we're able to fix this. Maybe it will be able to fix it more than us. The main thing is trying to add cursor pointers for no reason. Transparent background, interesting, no borders. Do we need all of these? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Transitions and hovering. Don't want any of this. Great. You can click images. Should it be a button? I tried to add a non-click here. Would someone tell me off? Yeah, probably. Yeah, button might be more appropriate. Fair enough. Fair enough. Would that display block help? I do want to use cyan for this, which I do mention in Claude and elsewhere. Why does it have transitions? No one knows. Why does it have a maximum? Width and height, also no one knows. But anyway, the main thing that we want to know if it works or not is this brightness 0 thing. While it's not revealed. Let's look at the Pokemon card. The image there. Width and height, auto full, max WXS. Sure. So we do have the same thing there. However, and surely that's in theory applied, right? Yep. Because I guess brightness is a different thing. Any number would work. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything. And in the actual DOM, so this thing, the style, let's confirm. Is it applying a filter? No. So could it be a thing that if we just restart the dev server, then Tailwind will be like, oh, you have new classes you haven't used. I'm gonna compile them for you and it will just work. So it wasn't the LLM, it was the compiler. LLM was correct. LLM was correct. Fellas, LLM was awesome. I take everything back. So obviously the user should know that this is like the name and the index thing. Is this the evolution of Bulbasaur? This is number 2. Of course, it would have been awesome if I hadn't hard-coded this. Cool. So yeah, some Tailwind problems, I guess. Great. Great. I would also think, can I make this be like the background color of the app? But that's like another feature. Like if I'm on light mode, I guess I would always want it to be this. Silhouette is fine. But I wouldn't want it to be like the super, super dark. I want it to be the app background dark. With a mask. Johnny is going wild with styling, guys. I won't actually do it. I'll need to think about it. I wasn't prepared. So yeah, this is masking based on this image, the circle image. So if I just did it black, it could work. We can give it a try. So if we just said BG background, it would be like this, slightly different. And would this work with dynamic images? One way to find out. Probably not, because this is dynamic. So how would the tailwind even know? But it is das, so it's like das URL. Das clonk clonk. Please write it correctly for giving up. Start the dev server again. Right. So anyway, I won't waste any more time in this. It did actually work. That's the main thing. So it starts like this. The height is not respected. But why? Unclear. It may be the skeleton that's the problem. All right, image works. Long story short, no need to mention all of this. Where was it doing a fade? Who knows? The title, or should we look at the guest card? Should be the same as the other one. Skeleton. It's a grid. Like definitely things to look at offline, like my energy levels are dropping. So let's look at the more important things. Guest card. An effect to reset reveal scenes. Sure. Reference this. Don't need this. Right. So the way we do the name shouldn't be like this. Revealable placeholder. Instead of using a span. So I tried to make like a generic component. that also flies in, but doesn't actually ever fly in. Like some hover stuff that I dislike. I mean, that's target is something that I'll need to investigate. It should be using CN instead of this unreadable thing. But hey. Active. Search with AI. Too much AI for me. Hey, it's Pichu. Alright, so I should be using the title here, and I should be using something else here. How come it didn't make it consistent? It's because it has a generic revealable placeholder, and then it has like this variant thing. I don't like it at all. I guess the revealable, you could have like a Svelte component. What do you want it to do? That like on reveal it does something. It takes like this method, which is just an on click. You could abstract this to a button, maybe whether it's press or not, and then you pass in what you want to put inside. So essentially take a children prop. That could be fun. And then you can say that is explaining this with question marks, which aren't visible, which they were before. Kind of fun. So yeah, this is kind of correct, but the classes for the placeholder aren't correct. It shouldn't be a larger touch target with like it just shouldn't be like this small to begin with. And the types, they're fine. They're the ones that look the best because they're using the budgets, I guess. You could be using a buds anyway. But yeah, I don't particularly like how I did it. I don't like the layout shift. I can give it a chance, like instead of engineer stats. I could tell it something, so let's give this a try. And then call it a stream, as it's quite late. Right. So, incorrect. Should I say should I give it 2 tasks? I will, just to see how it does. Instead, maybe I will use the Svelte task, which is dedicated to Svelte. Maybe that will be better. So it does have the reveal state here. Interestingly enough, it's not the parent that knows. If the parent knew, it would be giving it the fake content. I don't think it will succeed. But I will use the Svelte MCP, paste this in. I'm hoping that one of those two tasks it will manage to tackle. In the meantime, we can have a look at the tests again. So, turns silhouette and placeholders are visible, goes there, finds the heading, finds that there is an image that says Pokémon, I guess. And there is a button that says, guess the name, guess the ID, guess the type. Great. At least one. It has the case of so just a single type placeholder for a single type Pokemon, and that's the thing that we're thinking, where maybe we can seed this route and say like yes, and the ID is 1, and then you always get Bulbasaur, so you know that it has one type. If it does have one type, not sure anymore. But if it doesn't, then you know that you've done something incorrect. And for dual type, you have a hard-coded dual type Pokemon, and you just check this. The proportional placeholder width, I think that's like too visual to test. Like I wouldn't have a test for this. I wouldn't verify that it has text content, like invisible question marks. That's just my way to make it so the sizes are what I want, like something that looks kind of good. I wouldn't have an explicit test for this. DOM inspection prevention. I guess again you can seed it a specific Pokemon and see that you can't see Bulbasaur in the page somewhere. No data placeholders. Like, did you hide it in the inspector? Not a real spec, so I wouldn't keep this test. But interesting. I think it tried well. It did well with the tests. I do think having tests may be key to good usage of agentic coding and stuff, like a good validation gate. Even with the cron, I'm thinking that if instead of trying to tweak the prompts and get it to do what I wanted, if I had the test saying, if I had a test that did blow up if it did too many requests to GitHub, then it would be able to iterate better. If I had something that did too many database operations, then it would blow up. It would have been able to keep running this fast retest test and iterate on, instead of me needing to deploy and see, oh, it still doesn't work. So having good tests is critical, and it did quite well. Oh no, it's updating the test. Oh no. Did I paste the correct thing? Whoops. Did I not paste this? It is using the Svelte thing, so which is great. Yeah, so I didn't say anything about the question marks. They were fine. And again, it thinks that the server is not running. Didn't fix it. So yeah, in the notes, I should say maybe we're at that point. So yeah, things for me to do later. Accept ID parameter. So that's something I would say, accept an ID parameter. Okay, so it did a few things. Let's see. Layout shift still. This looks better. It added the hover again. I don't know who is and the pointer. I don't know who likes the Mickey Mouse button. Oh, it's a different. We don't have the Mickey Mouse hand anymore. Wow. Times are changing. So the thing I removed before, I need to remove again. And quite a few things I will need to change, actually. No layout shift for this. Great. So still layout shift as the image is trying to load. And I don't know why, because it has a width and a height, right? Am I going crazy? Is it that the component is changing? I think maybe it's trying to do like something too crazy there. No, we're just adding a filter, right? So what's the problem? Doing the rerolls, this never happens. So it's only switching from the placeholder image to the other one. So it's only this thing. I guess that doesn't have the expected height. Yes. What are we doing with the other placeholder? Skeleton, this guy. I guess it's a grid. And it doesn't have that problem, right? Yeah, it doesn't have that problem. Because it's in a flex container, so it's always full. Because it's in a flex container, so it's always full. May need to see them side by side. What I want to see here, skeleton, Pokémon card skeleton. It's the same situation. Flex element, justify center, full, the aspect. It is full, but then it drops for a moment and then loads in. It's a classic layout shift as if you hadn't specified the width and height of an image. So what are those elements doing there as we load? We'll never be able to see. Too much. So here, nah. I could replay it in the performance, but that's a bit too much. So these need to have labels as well instead of you needing to know what they are. Hey, got a mu. 2. Even I would know that one. But yeah, something to figure out offline. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this is like production. Is this MVP? It doesn't have a link for users to go to, so I guess it's like it would be stealth released, but I will spend some time during the week. Pichu. So what's the number of Pichu? That's very interesting because it was in the second generation. I would guess it's Pichu. I would guess 173. Wow, 172 is the real answer. Electric type. Woo. So, do you think this is production ready? I will do a final demo and call it a stream. The 1.5 day PR resulted in like 7,000 lines of code changes, most of them being the things that the SpecKit needs for initial setup, but for this specific feature as well. I'm sure for the one we did today, we'll have a similar thing. Let me know if you think it's production ready. So the demo is that we have a hidden guess route. The user cannot go unless they hard code it. It has some layout shift for some reason that I'll need to debug, but we are seeing a Pokemon silhouette. It's working perfectly well. I would love it if it was the exact background color that we have here with some sort of masking, but I'll see if I can figure it out offline. The user can't really know, has to guess that, oh, this is supposed to be the name, and this is supposed to be the number, and this is supposed to be the types. But I'll have to add labels for them and make it like a bit more obvious, a bit more fun. Who's that Pokemon? I don't know what which this one is. Let's try to reroll. This is not Magikarp. It's like Zubat when seen sideways. I think we've had this before, Remoraid. And they can reveal, so you can think by yourself, you can play by yourself. Oh, I kind of remember this one. I think it's a grass type. Ah, Psychic. Psychic grass, is it green at all? It has a lot of green, so that's good. Gardevoir, of course, number 363, 282. So I would like to have the Pokemon entry as well, the Pokédex entry. I would like to have first appearance in which generation, some stuff like that. But yeah, this weird layout shift I don't like. We had this tailwind problem that wasn't a problem in itself, but I think you can play this, like the who's that Pokemon just from the silhouette is fun. So this one, I should know this one. This is one of the famous ones. They're good for competitive play as well. And it only evolves if you have something special. If you trade it, it's one of those that evolve if you trade it. But it doesn't evolve from a Ghastly, does it? Maybe. It should be Dark and Ghost. Ghost and Poison. 122, 94, and is it? Oh, just a little bug there. Gengar. Is it on the line of Ghastly? I don't know. This keeps adding like the pointer fingers for no reason. But yeah, you can play this. Is this Arceus? Arca Ludon. Whoa. Who's that Pokemon with the silhouette? It's a fun game by itself, so I do think this is like MVP ready, but we need some things for accessibility and core web vitals. I think it's fun. Oh, another thing, this doesn't actually have two types, I guess. Interesting. So yeah, some things to note and figure out. Faranglau asks, how was the experience with SpecKit compared to last week's AI-only approach? I like coding more, so me identifying the prompt, writing the prompt, getting to do something, and then I go hands-on to fix it myself, debug and do it. I think I like it more because I like coding more. I do like the ideation research phase of SpecKit that it kind of forces you to get into. Like the out of scope question section was my favorite, after all, which I always made fun of in real life. Let's see. I couldn't find this. I just need to close this. So out of scope, multiplayer or competitive features, that'd be awesome. Now you just play with your mind. Score tracking or statistics, including tracking number of hints used, but we don't really know if they code it correct or not, so we rely on the honor system, so that's why it's out of scope. Hint cost systems, again, no. Difficulty levels or progressive difficulty, no. But filtering by generation type or evolution states, that's a good idea. A cool feature. Time-based challenges. So maybe it slowly reveals more information. That would be fun. User accounts, we do have user accounts, but personalized challenge history, we don't keep track of that. Social sharing of challenges or results, we have no idea of knowing whether you got it right or not. That's the problem. Custom challenge creation, selecting specific Pokemon. So that's something we could use for seeding. You can pass in the ID. But then the user would be able to see the ID in the URL. Hey. Which gives you at the very least a generation, essentially. So it's a big hint. But we can customize it. Anyway, persistence or partial reveals between page refreshes or sessions storing something in local storage or IndexedDB. Reveal all button to do it. Yeah, that's not what we want. Yeah, so this thing, SpecKit is the thing that led to this ideation phase, because just doing I write the prompt in my notes file and I paste it into the editor, would never result in the AI coming back to me to say, oh, these are the features we don't want. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, definitely less code with this approach, but more thinking about the product, which could be good. You know, if you don't have someone interested to chat to WhatsApp about your ideas, call for coffee and chat for your ideas, you chat with the LLM, and then, you know, that's kind of cool. I did like it. I'm keen to try the Taskmaster one and see if that's a bit closer, like a better balance between I actually get to code and I specify what I actually want from the app. Let me know how it was to see me try to do this. Also, in the end, I did use the Svelte MCP server, the special command they have, the Svelte task prompt one, which I think did result in a better result. So immediately it managed to make the placeholder component, which we didn't really look at. Rendering children visible. So using explicitly the one made for Svelte resulted in something better, which makes me think that SpecKit isn't able to use the tools from the MCP servers as well than you manually running the command. How much context it used is quite scary. How many tokens it used is quite scary as well. So I think like being able to use the Svelte MCP server, the task thing, directly is also a benefit of the prompt style approach of last week. I think it results in better results, faster. Maybe I do need like separate stages, like talk about the product and then kind of use something else to actually implement. Not sure. So yeah, rambling. I will need to reflect on this and then do another live stream My idea for this live stream was to talk more about the remote functions and using bats for queries and using forms for mutations and stuff. But it took me so long to be able to get the singing feature kind of working with SpecKit that I needed to pivot and just do a SpecKit related one. I think it was an interesting stream. I was impressed that it did manage to do the critical feature of the Pokémon being a silhouette. That it knew that it could do it with using a filter and a brightness of 0. I think that's really cute, really nice. It's a shame that the Tailwind compiler, as it sometimes does, it didn't refresh, it didn't create classes you haven't used before. Thankfully, I've seen this before, so I managed to think that this may be the problem and restart the server before I drag down the LLM too much. But yeah, that's about it. Using the Chrome MCP server helps with debugging something like layout shift issues. Oh, that's a cool idea. It's a cool idea. So this must go into my things to look into and set up. So I do want the playwright. And I assume that this would have something built in for like Core Web Vitals, layout shift and stuff like that, but I will have a look at the Chrome MCP as well. Cool, that's it for this week. We'll see when the next one is gonna be. Interesting ring here on these items. We may need to do something more on brand. But yeah, over the week I will try to clean this up and show it more at the end of the week. I do think the SpecKit approach tricks me into working with the feature more in the end. This happened with the cron, which initially I was like, okay, if I spend a bit of time and I'm not able to do it, that's fine. I will do the stream on remote functions anyway. But it tricks me into wanting to proceed. Like I see the progress, I see the ticks on the task list, and I'm like, oh, we just need this, and this is the next thing, we'll be able to do it. So tricks may be like a too cheeky of a word. It motivates me to keep working on this. So that's another benefit of SpecKit or something like that, that does give you, these are the tasks that you need to do, and then you can do them. But does this say something about me? I'm like, am I conditioned like a hamster to be on the wheel and be like, oh, let's deliver more stories. I get motivated, I feel good when something like that happens. Probably not, or else I wouldn't be doing these live streams, because I just do them for fun. Yet again, I have engineered the same thing for myself. So maybe this is more telling about myself in the end. So yeah, with this extreme philosophical revelation about myself, I will wish everyone good night and go look at myself in the mirror and say, wow, you've ticked off quite a lot of things today and had fun. But seriously, fun stream. Thanks everyone in the chat for keeping me company. Keep your suggestions coming. Let me know in the Discord as well if you don't manage to catch a live, if you have an idea of what you'd like to see next. Most of all, I saw things that I think are neat and I'd like to experiment with and have this time where I'm experimenting, and I also saw you and maybe you find it helpful. But I also love showing things that you think are interesting because then I learn something that could be a helpful tool for me. I love learning in general, and I love showing things that people find useful. So if there is at least one person that's like, oh, I want to learn about this, then at least one person will find this useful, and that gives me more fuel, more motivation to actually do the stream. All right, thanks again. Have a lovely Sunday evening, and have a beautiful next week, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.